Hello learners, I welcome you all to the fifth module of the course Mobile Application Development using Android. The topic of this session is making use of internal storage device. So through this session, you'll be making use of the Android inbuilt classes and interfaces to store a particular data. The data, be it a text data, an image data, or whatever the data is, you can make use of the inbuilt classes and interfaces that are available in Android to store the data into an internal storage that is referred to as a memory. So I hope you guys are excited. See you all in the session. Have a happy learning.
Okay, welcome you all to this session. So in this session, we'll be discussing something about storage and how to store your data from an Android application and how to retrieve it back. All these things will be discussed in this series of tutorial. So particularly this session focused towards storing your data uh, into an internal storage device. That is your phone memory. So the data could be of any form. The data could be a simple text, or it could be an image, it could be an audio, it could be a video. So any form of data. How to just store your data to your internal storage. So for that, this video covers a concept where we are going to create a file, a specific type of file, let's say a PDF file, wherein we are going to create our own PDF file, and we are going to fetch in some text file, like a text data that we obtain it from the user, and we create a text file, and the file will be directly stored to your internal storage, that is your phone memory. So for these things to happen, we require some kind of a permission from your IDE uh, to access your external storage, and then we need to include certain dependency as well, which we will do right now. And apart from that, we have to write code that specifically asks the user to allow permission to access the internal storage and other stuff as well. So all these things will be covered in this module. So to facilitate that, I have already created a project which is named as internal storage, and it contains a single activity which is having a main activity and an associated XML file. You can see that I have already created that, and I have commented 3 lines here that specifies the module that is we are going to try right now. And the first basic module is that we will be creating an edit text in our XML, wherein we will get the user data, that's say a sentence or a paragraph probably, that we wish to write it to a file, that is a PDF file, and we will, for that we will create an edit text, and below the edit text we'll have a button. So once we obtain an input from the user, we'll click on this button. So once when the button is clicked, these data that we have read from the user should be stored in a PDF file automatically. And once that is done, this PDF file should be automatically stored in the internal storage. So these are all the things we are expected to proceed in this video session. So for that, let us go and create our UI. So currently our UI doesn't have any widgets inside. It's a simple relative layout, which is empty actually. So let me create a edit text to the class edit text itself. So let me include those attributes required of content. And, let's create an ID here, a user input. Once this is done, we can set the position of our edit text to a certain range, and fix the position of our text. Even we can specify a hint to help our user figure out what exactly this edit text is meant for, right? So I'd say enter data defect. So once then we can cross check our design part, we can see an edit text being created with the width and the height specified. And once that is done, we move on to the button. See, we are creating a button below our edit text. So I would say like go below my edit text. So user input is the ID of my edit text, followed by a unique ID for my button. So I would say like pick, for example, and then let us give it a name, a button name, say upload. Okay. So and then let us set the position to true and fine. So this is the design part. We have completed this one. Let us give it some behavior. Let's say this edit text and the user is feeding some data. This data should be read, and then once the button is clicked, this data should be automatically stored to a PDF file, wherein those PDF files should be stored to our internal storage. This is the motto of this session, this project actually. So let us go and write some codes in the main activity. Let me introduce my two components that I have created in my XML. One is my edit text. For that, I'll create an object as of now, and then a button. For that as well, I'll create an object. Let's say button. And typically, we'll do this typecasting here, or we will introduce every component through the unique ID, right? So I would say we will use the method called find view by ID that helps us to do this thing. And I would say user input. So you have to properly give the inputs here. And likewise, button has its own unique ID. The button comes button view find view ID and say click if I'm not wrong. Okay. We have set things here. Right now, if this button is clicked, then we expect certain things to happen. So for that, I would say a method called set on click listener. This method are about to write stuff that we are willing to do. Here, we are not just working on a simple model. Here, we are trying to create a document, a specific type of document wherein we fetch our data, store it to the file, and once that is done, we create a PDF. Once the PDF is created, we kind of store it to our internal storage. All this we have to do. So for that, first of all, let me shift back to XML, my manifest XML, wherein I have to ask for permission from my IDE stating whether I can read this external storage as well as I should write it as well. So it's a write external storage. These two things are important for reading, for making use of your internal, your external storage in a proper way. That is, you are able to read as well as write. Once this is done, you have to move on to your build.gradle in the app level. Your app level has a build.gradle within which you have to include certain dependencies to make use of your PDF writer and other things that you work with internal storage. For those things, we need these three dependencies. I would like to highlight these. I have already included it in my build.gradle, and I insist you to replicate these three dependencies as I have done. Maybe there might be in certain cases you will have this discrepancy in your version, this dependency version, but still it will work fine, I guess so. So once you have included this and this manifest, in this manifest, if you have included these two lines, then you are set to go. You can make use of the inbuilt classes that are available for creating a document and other things. But before that, one thing we have to make sure is that we have to ask for permission, right? If we are using an advanced version, so for that, I will use a command called build. I will check the version through the SDK integer. Each and every version has its own integer value. If it is greater than the Marshmallow version that I'm talking about, because in Android operating system, after the Marshmallow version, from Marshmallow even, I would say, all those operating system comes up with a feature that to ensure security, the user should be prompted with an warning message stating that whether the app is allowed to access certain features of the phone device. That is, allow your app to access your location, access your contacts, access your storage. We might have seen those things in various applications. Here also we are trying to create a project that kind of access your internal storage. So the user should be prompted with a suitable message asking for permission. If the user is willing to grant permission, then he will click OK, otherwise he will cancel, right? So that is what we are trying to do. But to check permissions in that case, uh, permission check is allowed only after this marshmallow version. So that's why I've checked for this dependency here. And once if it is okay, then I would say I have a method called check self permission. I would like to show that. So within which I have to specifically mention what type of permission is given here, right? Either the permission is for accessing your storage or something other than that, right? So I would say write external storage. This is what I'm checking for, and if this is granted, the permission is granted, then I would say like I would check for package manager that kind of handle this one, and I would say package manager dot permission granted. If these two things fit in together, then okay, everything is fine right now. Otherwise, I have to uh, check for the version actually available. This line is meant for checking for whether the right external storage is allowed or not. So in that case, I would create a string array and name it as permissions, for example, and I would check for this. Okay. So I would type in this permission dot write storage, this outcome. I would check and post it in this permissions, and I would create a method called request permissions, and I pass this array, string array, as one of the arguments. And the second argument will be a code that is to identify this methodology uniquely to the user and operating system. So I would say I would create a integer variable. Let's say I can name it as a storage code, for example. It's a unique code that identifies the relationship that is established between the user and the app, right? So I would say like I would give a value, let's say 1000, for example, and I would just give it as an argument here. It's like a key, security key, okay, that helps us to make the communication properly. Okay, so this is what it is. So once this is done, we can go and create our methodology that is actually needed here. That is, I would say I come out of the on create method and type on Control O I have pressed, and I would say on request permissions result. Okay, I have to define this method. This is the method declaration, and this is the method defined here. It has a call to the superclass constructor. Okay, so within which I am expected to check for permissions, actually whether the user is properly given the permission to access everything or not, right? So for that I will type switch case that confirms and the request code with the storage code. This request code is nothing but this one, this parameter, right? So I would say wait, it says like request code is not okay. So it's simply there is a typo. I'm sorry for that. And within which you have to give case, and you have to pass in your storage code as the label here. Okay, so the request code and storage code will be compared, and if so, if it is true, then I would check for the other grant results. The grant result is nothing but the result being provided after whether the user is granting for permission or is denying for permission. So in that case, I would write if grant results dot length, if it is less than 0, then automatically it means that this the user is not granted the permission. Should be at least greater than that, and it is stored in this array, grant results array, and the 0th index is having the actual value. And if it says like package manager dot permission granted, if it is okay, then I'm ready to go. Right? So I would say like I can do whatever that I am supposed to do. So let's say I create a method called save PDF here. This method will be defined in the on create methodology. So I will just click on Alt Enter and create my method in my main activity. Fine. So this is outside. This is within my on create actually, outside my on create, within my main activity. Fine. So within which I can write my own code. If this is not granted, if it is not granted, then I should intimate my user that permission is denied, right? So I would make use of this toast, which is a class that allows me to intimate my user with a certain command. Let's say I write class name followed by permission denied, and I can set the length as well. So test that length um, length long to, and then trigger this excuse me, this toast, right? So we are set with things here. We are, once the button is clicked, we are checking for permissions, and for that we have written a function declaration and a definition which actually checks for permission, right? So once this is done, I can get inside. So this may end up in a true state or false state, because some users might be using an older version of operating system. So in that case, we don't have to check for permission and all. We can directly call the save PDF method. And here as well, if it is false, still I can continue my work to show you how it goes. So I put an else block here as well. Okay, I have called the save PDF in all the cases possible. So I have tried to define this save PDF methodology right now. So within this methodology, we are going to do two simple things. One is to create a document and then name the document, name the file path, and then once the document is created, we open the document and write in the data that we want, and then store the document value, and then close the document, and finally store it to the external storage. That is your internal storage, actually, your phone, right? So for that, the initial step is you have to create a document using a class called document, and then we create an object. The traditional way of creating a document is using new keyword. Fine, we have created the first step, right? So once this is done, and the document should have a file name, right? So I would say I would create a string here mentioning the variable, the name called file name, and we can give whatever that we are supposed to do. We can create some random names here if we want through the random package which is available, or else if you want to make it more specific, we can give in values like a date format or time format, such that your file name will have the proper unique kind of value that suggests when that file is created, at what time it is created. For that, we can use a special class which is called a reference type, which is called simple date format, within which you can specify the type in which your files can be stored here. So I would say, like, I want my first name as year followed by month and then date, and then have a, this is optional, guys, so you don't have to specify it as the way you want. You can do it in the way you want, okay? And then finally I have to check this is local to the timing in which you are present, the area in which you are present, and finally you can format it. Formatting is really important here. That is, you have to set the time accordingly, okay? Because time may differ, so I can just make use of the system, and I say current time in milliseconds. Really important. So yes, fine, file name is created properly. Once this is done, the second step is you have to create the file path. Okay, the path in the sense where it should be stored is really important. Okay, so here all we are trying to do is we are trying to make use of the internal storage here, and I make use of a class called environment that gets the external storage directory for me. So I will try to get external storage directory, and this directory will fetch me the location, internal storage location, in which I would say, like, in this path I have to specifically store. So I would say, like, give it a slash and then the file name that I have obtained through this simple date format, and again plus, and then say .pdf. This is what I want to give it as the path here, or proper path here. This path will contain the location path, and then this will be appended to make it more look as a real file here, right? So once this is done, I would try to create a try and catch block here, because we are going to create a PDF writer here, because once you are creating a PDF file, it may end up in a failure because there are higher chances for exceptions to occur. To overcome that, I have written this try catch block within which I am going to create a PDF writer. So this class will allow us to create a PDF file on the go, and the document shall be appended to this PDF writer. So I would say get instance, and you have to give the document as the first document that you are going to create as the first argument, and you have to specify the path in which you are going to store it. So for that, you will be using file output stream, which is one of the output streams for creating output object within which you have to specify the path. So the path and the document name is really important to set things up for PDF writer. Okay, once the PDF writer is set with the instance of this document and this file path, we are ready to go. Right now, the second step will be to open up the document and start typing in what are all the things that you want. Okay, so the document, what we have planned is, as I already mentioned, this document will be populated with the values that we read from edit text, right? So the edit text, you can type given a paragraph. So I would say data here and get the value from the edit text. So I would say get data, get text dot a string format to convert to string, right? So I have this data shall be now added to the document. It's going to be simple method that adds things. So first of all, we'll add the author name for the PDF file. This is optional. So I would say TC space IP, and then we can add data. Simply add, and I say add in the form of a paragraph, whatever the user is typing. So for that, I will just say paragraph and then simply data. Okay. So once this is done, once you can add as many as values that you want. It's not a restriction. Once you have completed this, you just close the document. You have to do it manually. While opening a document and closing a document, you may find exceptions that may occur based on certain reasons. Maybe the permission might not be granted. So for that case, we have used this try class. Okay, keep that in mind. If there is any exception, it will pop up things, right? So once this is closed, you have to ensure that user that, okay, process is success or failure based on a toast message we already discussed. So I would say I can specify in a way better than we think. So just like giving a file name, save successfully. Instead of that, I could say a file name, and I would say like .pdf /n saved to /n, and then I can even specify the file path here. Okay, so this is on the whole a string here. It specifies like, okay, this is what it is, this is what you have created, and this is stored properly, right? With a meaningful message. This is optional, guys. You don't have to like write it the way I have written. This will do what it will do is it will create the file name will be like in the form of date format, and then followed by .pdf, and it say like / in the sense the next time it will save to this particular location. That is, I think I have to write file path here. Am I correct? So I think this is file path because this is where it is stored, right? I should not say like file name here. File path. This file is stored here. Fine. So there might be an exception that may happen. So in that case as well, you can simply say post message to intimate the user about the context here. So I would say main activity.this and d.get context. So I would say like get message, probably a simple message that specifies the exception, and then toast.length long.show. Fine. Okay, we have set up with things here. Everything is fine here. We have checked for permissions. We have written that code here, and we have written the stuff that we want actually. That is, we create the document and name the document and the file path for the document, and then we have created a PDF writer that writes the data that we are going to feed into this document. And once that is done, we will specify the path, that is the storage, internal storage directory wherein we are going to store the file. So for these things to be successful, all we are about to do is we have to first of all use permission here in the manifest, and then we have to mention this dependencies that I have insisted you to include into your build.gradle as well. And this is a simple project that allows us to simply enter the data and upload it in the form of a PDF file. Even we can try to do image file that can be uploaded to a directly to your internal storage, a video, whatever that you want, an audio, or even you can fetch data from a database or backend and then load it into your application, and then that data can be further converted to a form of a text file like a PDF that we have done towards right now. That PDF can be stored again back to the database. It is like you can do all the stuff that you want, and that data can be even stored to your internal storage. You have the provision to do all those stuff. So as of now, I will try to run this code to explain you further about the output of this project. Let me do that. Let me reload this project and let's see how it goes. So once this project is completed, loaded, then it will install this application in my mobile phone because I have connected my USB to my application. So it will automatically install this application in a debug mode, not in the actual APK version. It will be in the debug mode. So once it is opened up, it will ask me for these values, and once you feed this one, it will automatically create a file in my internal storage, because the path I have specified here is, you can see this, which is actually we have written here, which is external storage directory. If you want to be more specific, you have other methods as well for this environment class, which I would like to show as well in the upcoming sessions. But this session entirely covers the concept relevant to internal storage, that is your memory. Here you may have a confusion that this is given as external storage and I'm saying internal storage. Internal storage is from the perspective that your internal memory that I'm talking about. External storage here, it means that it is something away from the application itself. So as an entity away from application is called external here in this category. So something that belongs to the application itself is called internal memory, and we call that one as shared preference, which you'll see in the next session, wherein we will be able to maintain the state of the app, where the data will be stored locally within its own cache memory. Whereas if you close the app and you open it up again, the data that you have put in before will be retained based on this class called shared preference, which is a form of an internal storage. This comes under external storage, wherein we are working with the phone device. We have other options of storing the data as well, which is actually called storing the data to a SD card, storing the data to the database. Even you can store the data to a cloud platform as well. So this storing is not confined to just updating your data to the database. It is not like that. Even you can read the data from that entity, like from the internal storage, you can even read the data. If you have a PDF file, you want to read the PDF file and load it to your application and view it, you can do that. Likewise, you can load a data from your database and view it into your mobile application. You can load a data from the cloud and view it. So it is possible for both reading and writing to happen from and to an internal storage device. Okay, that is what I try to convey here. Okay, let's see if there is any problem in this application. Okay, so let me show you the output here. It's successful actually. So I'll share my screen, and I would like to show you the output here. So this is what we have designed actually. So I would say, like, let me type in some data. So Manoj Kumar is uploading data. Okay, this is what I'm trying to do. I'll click on this upload button, and once this is done, you can see the toast popping up here with the file name, and it says save to certain location. Okay, let us check that in my mobile phone itself. Let us do that, and let me go to my internal storage. Here it is, my internal storage, and let me check on it. Let me open it up, and you can see Manoj Kumar is uploading data is actually created here as a new file. Already I have created 2 files for demo, and that's it. Your PDF file is successfully created programmatically, and this file is named with a suitable unique name that we have tried to create, right? So this is kind of This is how it works, and I hope everyone is clear with the concept that I have discussed so far. In this module, we have just discussed how we are able to store data to a external storage, that is your phone memory. So in the next session, probably we will discuss something in advance. So as of now, I'm signing off. Thank you so much, guys.